Has the time finally come? Hi folks, it's Switchback. With satellite technology promising us things like text messaging in the coming months and possibly years, is it still a good idea to invest in something like a satellite communicator if you're going off the grid? The satellite SOS feature is available on some phones, but AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon and manufacturers are in the process of making satellite communication possible on your phone. So this means the addition of being able to reach out to loved ones while you're off the grid. So let's talk about this. If you stay to the end, I will share with you a device that's available now that may allow you to send and receive text messages without a satellite communicator. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Switchback. I've spent most of my life enjoying a variety of outdoor activities, and I love sharing ways to help you get outside safely and responsibly. I make videos with tips for hiking, backpacking, and other outdoor activities, along with sharing some of my own outdoor adventures and photography. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss anything. First, let's define a few terms. I've heard these used interchangeably, but they are three completely separate devices. First, a satellite phone. A satellite phone is an actual telephone, first commercially available in 1998, that allows you to make phone calls using satellites. Usually these are billed similarly to the original cell phones where it was by the minute. Next is a personal locator beacon, and this is a single-use SOS button that once triggered frequently sends out your GPS coordinates basically until the battery dies. These work worldwide, they do not require a subscription, and they do not require charging. That said, it is only an SOS button, and once it's used, it's used. A satellite communicator is what you're probably familiar with if you're familiar with any of these, and this will allow you not only to use an SOS feature on here, but it allows you to send messages and receive messages and potentially weather reports via satellites. The messages go back and forth using an app. And these do require a subscription and they do require charging. All messages that you send, including to your loved ones, will contain a GPS coordinate of where it was sent from. And it also will allow you to communicate with search and rescue if, God forbid, you do have to hit that SOS button. As you may know, Apple started including an SOS feature with the iPhone 14 in 2022. I have the iPhone 14 Pro. You can see my video about that announcement right up here, but be sure to come back. So far, it looks like this is going pretty well, both from my research and anecdotally what I've heard. And it sounds like cell phone companies are furiously trying to keep up. Now Apple is promising satellite texting with iOS 18, which is not available as of filming. Apple is partnering with Globalstar, who plans on doing a major satellite relaunch in 2025. Once this feature is live, we're supposed to be able to send and receive text messages, emojis, and tapbacks like liking or loving someone's text. As of June of 2024, Android had not made any announcements yet. However, some T-Mobile customers are testing out an Android 15 beta. What that means, honestly, don't know. T-Mobile had announced a partnership with Starlink or SpaceX that was supposed to go live in 2023, but there is currently no promised date yet. SpaceX says that cell phones will not necessarily need to have a satellite capability, that the satellites will work like cell towers, which is direct to cellular technology. And Starlink claims that they had their first successful text conversation this way in January of 2024. Both AT&T and Verizon are partnering with AST Space Mobile, but they hadn't yet launched the satellites needed for this as of filming. But they are also promising the similar direct-to-cellular technology that SpaceX is promising. Motorola has been promising the release of their Defy 2 since 2023, however, nothing has been launched. This is supposed to have within it basically a hotspot that works similarly to a satellite communicator in that you can send and receive text messages, but it would be embedded right in the phone. Some things to know about this coming technology. It will not be available on basic plans, but that said, not everybody needs this feature. For Apple users, it will only be available on iPhone 14 and newer, just like it is right now. Apple has said that their satellite SOS feature will be free for the first 2 years, but it's coming up on 2 years and they have not yet made any announcements of what happens after that. So far, the promise is that the end-to-end encryption will be the same as it is in current text messaging, which is good for privacy concerns. One major limitation, and the same can be said for a satellite communicator, is that they need a good view of the sky to go directly to the satellite in order for them to work well, which means that it wouldn't work very well in really cloudy weather, smoky weather, or if you're in a car, a boat, an RV, or otherwise somehow obstructed, if you're in tree cover, that kind of thing. It sounds like it could take about 30 minutes for a message to go through as well, so this isn't necessarily going to be at the same speed as current text messaging. This will not be available in all countries, and so if you're doing international travel, make sure that you're doing research ahead of time to find out whether or not this feature will be available where you're going. There's also hope for internet connection, which would be great for things like updates on weather or wildfires. At least that's how I would be using it if I was in the backcountry, because I drove by a fire on the way here. Another thing to think about is that a satellite communicator is a lot more durable than a cell phone. This is going to get a lot this is a lot more fragile if you drop it or beat it up against something, or you fall and you injure yourself. This is going to be a lot more durable. Now, most of us are already carrying our cell phone when we're out on the trail or out in nature or on a road trip. So it's not necessarily something else that we have to carry, which is kind of nice. However, we will go through more battery power if you're using this feature. And so make sure that you're carrying with you something like a power bank. And I have information about that up here as well. Just be sure to come back. Now, a few questions that I have about this. One, if you send a message when you're out hiking, do you have to stay in that same position or keep that phone aligned in order for it to send? Or is it, you can send and then keep hiking and wait for it to send, similar to the way that it is on a satellite communicator? Now, one difference with that is that my phone goes in my pocket. This I keep on my shoulder strap or on my waist belt. And so this has a better view of the sky, and I can hear it send that message when it gets that connection, where a phone is going to be put away somewhere more likely than not and may not have that same access to the satellites. Also, how much is this going to cost? Is it going to be charged per message, similar to a sat phone or similar to a satellite communication plan? So what's the bottom line? My personal plan, I currently have an iPhone 14, and there is definitely peace of mind that if I am somewhere and I am out of cell range and something emergent happens and I don't have my Garmin with me, that I have that satellite capability. For road trips and things like that, we definitely take the Garmin, or if I am going to go photograph somewhere that I'm out of cell range, or do astrophotography, or I'm going on a hike where I'm out of cell range, or backpacking, I definitely take this with me. But if we're taking the dog to the river or the beach or something like that, we don't have this usually. And so if something were to happen, there's definitely that peace of mind that my cell phone can handle it if we need it to. And all of that said, another reason that I like to carry this is so that I can communicate with Mountain Goat, so that if something happens, my plans change, if she needs to update me about something, that we have that ability to communicate with one another. The $25 a month is absolutely worth the peace of mind. Now, once this text message technology is out there, I'll definitely be reevaluating and seeing how it goes. I'm not usually the first to jump ship on something like this with new technology, but once it's been out for a little while, you can look forward to that update. I would love to know your thoughts and whether you have already ditched your satellite communicator or plan to anytime soon. Tell me about it down in the comments. Now for my bonus tip. Motorola has already released the original Defy, and the Defy is basically like a little mobile hotspot that connects to your phone and allows you to send text messages, kind of similar to a satellite communicator. Now, to be fair, I have not tried this myself, and reports online are mixed. Some people say that the app is really difficult to use, that it's logged them out, which is something you don't want to discover when you're out of cell range, or that it just doesn't work at all. And then other people are very happy with it. I've also seen reports that it doesn't work in, say, Alaska, even though the maps online say that it does. The plans appear to be pretty similar to the ones from, say, Garmin. One complaint that was pretty universal, and again, this is first-gen technology, so there will be flaws, of course, but the SOS button is a single touch button. And it's basically somewhere very accessible where when you grab it, it would be very easy to set it off. So I can see why people would not be very happy about that. Now, not everybody needs satellite communication, and to figure out whether you should invest in something like a satellite communicator, be sure to check out this video. I hope you got some value, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!